What if looking younger than your age isn't just luck? What if it's a sign, a whisper from life itself, that you're doing something right? Have you ever had someone freeze mid-sentence when they found out your real age? Like they're recalculating reality. Maybe they guessed you were a decade younger. You laughed it off, blamed good genes or clean living. But deep down, you felt it. There's more to this than just skin care. You're not just aging well on the outside, you're carrying something powerful within. Today we're diving into 7 hidden reasons why people like you seem to defy time. Clues that point not to vanity, but to virtue. Because, as Epictetus said, it is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. And that simple truth might just be why you shine the way you do. Reason 1. Inner strength keeps you young. You ever meet someone who's been through hell and still somehow they look untouched, not fake happy, not in denial, but calm, grounded, clear-eyed, like life tried to break them and they just smiled back? That kind of presence, that strength, it's not just rare, it's ageless. These are the people who faced heartbreak, betrayal, financial disasters, personal loss. They've been hit hard, maybe harder than most. But when you look at them, you'd never guess the battles they fought. Their secret, an unbreakable spirit. They don't let pain settle in their bones. They don't carry yesterday's storm on their face. They feel, yes, but they rise. See, your mind controls your body more than most people realize. Stress doesn't just sit in your head. It carves itself into your skin, your muscles, your posture. It pulls down the corners of your mouth. It drains the light from your eyes. When you stay in survival mode too long, your body pays the price. Cortisol, the stress hormone, becomes a silent sculptor. It etches worry into your forehead, tension into your neck, exhaustion into your eyes. But those who've developed resilience, they don't drown in that. They breathe, they reset, they respond, not react. They've learned the Stoic truth. It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond that matters. They understand that letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And that healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means choosing not to carry the weight. And guess what? Their face reflects that. Their skin holds a quiet vibrance. Their eyes stay full of life. Their presence, you feel it, because they've refused to let life age their spirit. So if people keep telling you that you look young for your age, ask yourself, am I someone who keeps going even when life gets heavy? Am I someone who laughs through the struggle instead of folding under it? If so, you've already tapped into one of the deepest secrets of timelessness. Because true youth isn't about escaping hardship. It's about refusing to let it define you. Reason 2. Flow with change. Stay youthful. Let's be honest, change is uncomfortable, even when it's necessary, even when it leads to growth. Most people, they fight it. They hold on tight to what's familiar, even if it's no longer working. They repeat the same routines, cling to old beliefs, shut the door on new opportunities, not because they're lazy, but because they're afraid of losing control, afraid of uncertainty, afraid of not knowing who they'll become. And that fear, it doesn't just weigh on the heart. It shows up in the body, in stiff shoulders, furrowed brows, a tired gaze as if their spirit has been holding its breath for years. But then there are the few who flow. They don't just accept change, they invite it. They meet life like a river meets the rocks, adjusting, adapting, moving forward. They stay curious, open, engaged. You can feel their energy when they walk into a room, not youthful in a superficial way, but in a deep, ageless way. That's no accident. The Stoics taught us this exact truth. We suffer most when we resist what's already happening. But if we meet change with readiness, with a willing heart, life doesn't harden us. It shapes us. And that mindset, it doesn't just lighten your mood, it changes your posture. It gives your eyes a spark. It adds bounce to your step because you're not weighed down by what was, you're energized by what could be. And the science backs it up, people who continue to learn to explore, to challenge themselves mentally and emotionally. They age slower, they live longer, they shine brighter. So if you're someone who says, why not, instead of what if you're willing to try to grow, to begin again, you're not just living boldly, you're aging gracefully. Change doesn't scare you. And because of that, time can't touch you the same way it touches others. Because the truth is this: youth isn't about holding on to who you were. It's about being brave enough to become who you're meant to be. Reason 3. Curiosity, the anti-aging fire. Have you ever met someone in their 50s, 60s, even 70s who just radiates life? Their eyes sparkle. Their voice has that lightness. They ask questions like a kid discovering the world for the first time, and you think to yourself, how are they still so alive? It's not magic, it's curiosity. A curious mind is like a fire that refuses to burn out. And that fire, it lights up everything around it. See, most people don't get old because of their age. They get old because they stop learning. They stop wondering. They stop growing. They fall into routines. Same job, same thoughts, same dinner every night. Their world shrinks, and with it, their energy fades. But the curious, they live wide open. They're the ones who ask, what else can I try? They pick up books they've never read. They ask deeper questions. They challenge what they believe. They're not afraid to be beginners again. And that mindset, it doesn't just sharpen your brain, it softens your soul. It keeps your spirit light, your face expressive, your presence magnetic. There's a glow in those who stay curious, a certain brightness in the eyes, because they see life not as something they figured out, but something they're still discovering. And you know what? The Stoics were all about that. Epictetus once said, only the educated are free. But he wasn't just talking about books. He meant people who never stop seeking truth. People who stay awake, aware, engaged. Because freedom from ignorance, from rigidity, from the fear of not knowing, that's a youthfulness no serum can replicate. So if you're the type of person who lights up when learning something new, if you got hobbies that challenge you, if you're still asking why, what if, and what else is possible, then you found one of the purest anti-aging secrets out there. And the best part, this spark doesn't dim with age unless you let it. So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep your mind open like a window to the world. Because the moment you stop being curious, that's when you stop growing. But if you keep that fire alive, time will never truly catch you. Before we jump into reason 4, take a moment to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Your simple action can help more people who are struggling with this issue find the content they need. Thank you for being a part of this. Reason 4, emotional honesty heals and glows. You can see it in people, the ones who've been holding it in for too long. Their eyes carry the weight of unshed tears, their jaw clenched with years of unspoken frustration, their smile forced, as if joy is something they have to perform rather than feel. They wear their silence like armor. But here's the truth, that armor doesn't protect it. Traps, unspoken emotions don't disappear. They settle into your body, your muscles, your skin, your breath. They turn into tension, stress, and eventually fatigue. Now compare that to someone who allows themselves to feel, who laughs fully, cries without shame, and speaks from the heart, not for attention, but for release. You can see the difference. There's lightness in their step, softness in their face, a kind of peace that radiates from within. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. The Stoics never said, "Don't feel." They said, "Feel wisely." Observe your emotions, understand them, but don't become their prisoner. Emotional honesty isn't about being dramatic, it's about being real. Because holding in sadness doesn't make it go away. Swallowing anger doesn't make you stronger. Pretending you're fine doesn't bring peace. What it does is wear you down. And over time, that inner tension shows up on the outside. But when you give yourself permission to express what you feel, to speak it, to process it, to let it move through you, you unburden your soul. And guess what? Your face follows, your energy shifts, your skin softens, your presence becomes lighter, more magnetic. Because when emotions aren't stuck inside you, you shine. So if you've ever been told you look peaceful, youthful, or lighter than most, maybe it's because you're not lugging around years of unspoken pain. You feel, you release, you heal. And in doing so, you give yourself the freedom to live fully, not just exist. That freedom, that emotional clarity, it's one of the most powerful anti-aging tools you'll ever own. And best of all, it's free. It just takes courage. Reason 5, protecting your energy, preserving youth. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the air get heavier? No one said anything cruel. No one raised their voice, but the energy, it drained you, as if the walls themselves were holding tension. That's no coincidence. Energy is real. It may be invisible, but it's deeply felt. And if you're constantly surrounded by negativity, people who complain, criticize, or cast doubt, you will absorb it. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. Over time, that energy settles into your nervous system. It raises your stress levels, it stiffens your body, and it shows on your face and your posture, in the heaviness behind your eyes. But then, there are those who seem to shine, not because their life is perfect, but because they protect their peace. They choose wisely who gets access to their heart, their time, their energy. They spend time with people who uplift them, who challenge them to grow, who bring light, laughter, and perspective, And that choice, it changes everything. It's no mystery why some people seem to glow with youth even into their later years. They're not just lucky, they're intentional. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But let's take that further. Your soul is also shaped by the people you allow into your life. If you constantly surround yourself with chaos, drama, and bitterness, you begin to carry it. You begin to wear it. But if your inner circle brings joy, support, calm, curiosity, you begin to embody that too. And it shows in the softening of your face, the light in your eyes, the way you carry yourself with ease. So ask yourself honestly, do the people around me nourish my spirit or drain it? Because your youth, your vitality, isn't just a reflection of your habits, it's a reflection of your environment, and you have more control over that than you think. Choose wisely. Protect your peace like sacred ground. Because when you guard your energy, you don't just feel younger. You become the kind of person who helps others feel alive too. That, my friend, is a powerful way to live. Reason 6. Purpose, your timeless fuel. You ever meet someone who's clearly older, but they feel more alive than people half their age? Their eyes light up when they talk about what they love. Their words have energy. Their presence fills the room. They don't just wake up, they rise with purpose. That's no accident. Because there's something ageless about someone on a mission. A person who knows why they get out of bed in the morning. They have fire, not the kind that burns out quickly, but the kind that warms everything around them. Now contrast that with someone who's just going through the motions. They've checked out. They're not aging, they're fading. You can see it in the way they walk, the way they speak, the dimness in their eyes. It's not time that wears them down. It's disconnection from meaning, from vision, from life itself. But those who live with intention, they stay vibrant. They have something to build, something to serve, something to love. And that passion flows through them like a river, fueling their mind, their body, their soul. It's not about being busy. It's about being aligned. The Stoics spoke often of living in accordance with nature, meaning your truest nature. To Marcus Aurelius, a purposeful life wasn't a luxury. It was a duty. Because when we live with clarity, when our actions match our values, that's when peace settles in. And peace shows on your face. Science even backs this up. Purpose isn't just good for your spirit, it lowers inflammation, strengthens immunity, and yes, even slows aging at the cellular level. So if people look at you and say, "You've got this glow," maybe it's because you're not just existing. You're engaged. You're building something, creating something, contributing to something greater than yourself. And that energy, that forward momentum, it keeps you young in the deepest, most lasting way. So let me ask you what lights you up. What would you still chase even if no one else saw it? Because when you live with passion, when your days are guided by something that moves your soul, you don't just add years to your life, you add life to your years. Reason 7. Letting go makes you lighter. There's no burden heavier than a past we refuse to release. You can't always see it in someone, but you can feel it. It sits behind their eyes like a shadow. It pulls down their smile. It slows their steps, like they're dragging something invisible but very real, old pain, old shame, things they wish they'd said, things they wish they hadn't. We all carry something. But here's the thing, the past only keeps hurting you if you keep holding on to it. And that grip, that refusal to let go, it doesn't just weigh down your spirit, it ages you. Literally, unresolved pain raises stress, and stress, as we've seen, changes your body. It stiffens your posture, it deepens your frown lines, it robs you of your glow, not just on the outside, but within. But look at someone who seems effortlessly young, not just in looks, but in lightness. There's a softness in their face, a calm in their presence, a quiet confidence that says, I've made peace with what I can't change. That's not weakness, that's freedom. The Stoics knew this truth well. They taught us to focus only on what's within our control and the past. It's not one of those things. You can't change what happened, but you can change what you carry forward. You can choose to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you do. You can choose to release guilt, not because the past is erased, but because you refuse to live trapped in it. And that act, that quiet decision to let go, that's healing, that's strength, that's youth, because healing makes space for joy, and joy keeps you light, keeps you open, keeps you radiant. So if people tell you that you have this calm glow about you, if they say you seem light, grounded, ageless, it may be because you've done the deep work of letting go. You've stopped dragging stories that no longer serve you. You've stopped replaying pain that doesn't belong in the present. You've chosen to be here, alive, awake, at peace. And that, more than anything, keeps the soul and the face beautifully young. If people say you look younger than your age, pause before you credit your moisturizer. Look deeper. Maybe it's not your skin routine. Maybe it's your spirit. Are you resilient in the face of hardship? Curious about life? Open to change? Expressive with your emotions? Surrounded by uplifting people? Do you wake up with purpose and let go of what no longer serves you? If so, then you've uncovered something powerful. Youth isn't a number, it's a practice, a way of showing up brave, open, and alive. And if you haven't lived that way yet, the moment to begin is now. Walk the path with intention, because when your soul is light, your body follows. If this resonated with you, hit subscribe. Share it with someone whose energy defies their years. And tell us in the comments, what's the wildest age guess you've ever received? Stay grounded, stay luminous, stay young where it matters most. And, as always, walk the Stoic path.